Hey, good morning. Welcome to EXSIN Live. Phil?
Do we have the camera right? Is the volume on?
If anybody's out there listening to us, did we screw something up technically again? Because, we're getting old and,
well, I'm getting old.
We're both getting old.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're getting better at technology every day. Thank you for all the young people that pour into us and teach us how to use these things.
Well, all you got to do is turn the volume up. It's not that hard. I struggle.
We have 15 different volumes on that
there's
mixer.
There's a lot of
this highly complicated for us.
Yeah, it's way too much.
So today we're going to have a really frank discussion with business owners and sales managers. And it's the reality of sales training 101. And to say that we've had some interesting experiences in these meetings and to say that our process has evolved over the years because of what we've seen is an understatement. But yesterday we sat with a group that we've been working with for a while. We got this for about the first hour.
Arms crossed.
Giving us a look.
Bad body language.
You don't know what you're talking about.
It wasn't even that. It was like it was bad. And Dave, we've worked together a long time. We know each other's tells. And I'm a terrible poker player anyway, because if I'm ready to flip a table, everybody knows it.
Oh, there was a table about to be flipped yesterday. It's pretty funny.
So finally, I just stopped and I said, you know what, guys? We know that you've all heard all this before. There's not a training done that's original, and there's not. We know that you know this stuff. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, you're not doing any of it.
It's like the offensive lineman, the pulling guard that's not taking the right step, and the coach told him 1,000 times how to take the step, and he keeps telling him to redo it. Well, one of the things about sales training you got to understand is if your team is not taking advantage of the tools they're being given, your sales team isn't going to change. And as a sales manager and an owner, you need to figure out how you're tracking that. More importantly, if you hire a sales training team to come in and take care of your team, it's not one and done. It won't work.
It won't work. You got to have follow-up. You've got to do a train the trainer, or you got to have some process in place after the training's over to ensure that things are happening. But I want to say this again. There is no original thoughts in direct sales. None. Okay? There are none. The stuff that works has worked forever. Now, are there additional tools that have came on? Absolutely. There's different tools that assist with prospecting. Technology's been a great addition to sales, and it's also been a hindrance to sales because it's created so many false prophets when it comes to sales about, oh, just click this button and set up this landing page and just do this and just do that. And all these sales are going to come pouring in. Oh, just do LinkedIn and just get on there and just prospect. Do Sales Navigator on LinkedIn. All that stuff are great tools to assist with the sales process. But at the end of the day, there's fundamentals that have to be done, the blocking and tackling, the foundational work every day. So yesterday, we're talking about yesterday's training simply because it's fresh.
That was yesterday.
It was yesterday. But the other thing that was really funny and was entertaining is how non-self-aware some people are.
Oh, no, good Lord.
I mean, it was, we had one individual that was basically killing the vibe of the whole room. And so finally, the way I shut it down, and I encourage you to use this because I knew the answer to this, but I said, hey, everybody, tell me your closing ratios right now. And that shut him up.
Well, because it was zero.
It was zero.
Yeah.
And so I think, you got to understand that the first step in having a great outcome in sales is being self-aware about how you sell and also understanding how other people hear what you're saying so that you can communicate in a way that they're going to receive the information that you're presenting.
Wait, you mean you need to speak in their voice, not
Actually
voice?
speak in their voice. Nobody cares about how good you are. Nobody cares about how great you think your company is or how great you think your product is. Nobody cares. Because guess what? Everybody else is saying the same darn thing. Everybody evidently works for the greatest company and everybody has the greatest product because that's what every salesperson's telling them. So you better get past this basic mind-numbing approach and start developing skills that are actually going to help you hear what somebody is saying. So
active listening.
Active listening. Yeah. And then you need to know how to present to them in a way that they will hear what you're saying. They'll be able to receive it. That's where great training comes into play. But if you're not doing the basic blocking and tackling, and I'm talking to salespeople right now, if you're not doing those things, and if you're not self-aware, and if you're not being honest about what you're good at and what you're not good at currently, notice I said currently, you can change all that. If you're not doing those things, you're lying to yourself. And guess what? You're going to have the same closing ratio a year from now that you have today because you're not doing anything to improve.
Look, if you're going to go out and pitch features and benefits and tell people how great you are and not solve somebody's problem, go ahead and put on the Sansevelt slacks, the polyester suit, and the shoes, and the glasses, grow the cheesy mustache, and just look like you're acting.
Yeah.
Because that's not sales anymore.
No.
Coffee's not for closers anymore. None of those lines work.
Nobody buys that way anymore.
That's right. People have gotten smarter. The internet has made given people the ability to have a ton of research when they walk in and know what they want. So if you're not solving their problem with your product and positioning yourself as the solution in a positive way to make a better outcome for the buyer, then you might as well go stand in the car lot with a bunch of old junky cars in your cheap suit and get the pitching features and benefits, and best of luck.
Well, I just think there's, listen, sales, I think nothing happens without sales. Okay? So I can make a very strong argument that if nothing happens before something's sold, the most important function, if you're a business owner, at least the one you need to pay a lot of attention to, they're all important, but probably the one that without it, nothing else happens, is sales, is business development. So invest in your sales teams. Understand that there's not a lot of original ideas out there. It's all about execution. It's about being self-aware as the sales rep. It's about being self-aware as the business owner and the sales manager. You got to strip all the crap down, get naked, as we like to say, and be honest about where you currently are, so then you can start walking out the processes that's going to create more sales revenue. If you're not willing to do that, please save your training money and just accept the fact that you're going to stay where you currently are. And that's okay. If you're not willing to do anything about it, you need to accept the fact you're going to stay where you currently are. Okay? But if you're looking for some earth-shattering, now I'm talking about stuff that's real. I'm talking about stuff that's true. I'm not talking about anybody can write a cool sales script or a cool sales marketing piece and convince you to hire them as a trainer. But what's the substance? What are they having you do? What's the follow-up? What are the foundational pieces to ensure that you're having the outcomes that you want? If you're not willing to do those things, man, save yourself the training money.
Well, let's relate this to football. It's football season. I love football. I love talking about it. So let's relate this to football. You can be average. You can be excellent. The question is, are you going to do the things to go from average to excellent? And the example I like to use is when you're in Little League football, they teach you how to form tackle. It's the first thing you do. A good coach will teach you how to properly set up for a tackle. Guess what? When you're a pro, you are doing the same form tackling drills you were doing when you were 6 years old
100%.
to make sure that you're excellent at it. Not average, excellent. Sales muscles are the same thing. If you want to connect with people, if you want to build a book, if you want to grow your business, then you have to use those basic skills of being a human being and connecting and be excellent at it. What makes you excellent? Being organized. What makes you excellent? Have a plan. What makes you excellent? Have a top 60 list. What makes you excellent? Consistent activity. How many of your sales team members are doing those four things?
Yeah, if you're not executing on anything, I mean, if you just execute more of bad habits, if you just execute more, so if you say you're not a great, but you're executing more, meaning you're talking to more people, you're networking with more people, you're taking the time to hop on and stay active on LinkedIn. If you just do more of that, you're going to sell more. Okay? But if you want to really ignite your sales team, if you really want to ignite your revenue, your top line revenue number, then you got to get into the weeds a little bit. You got to dig in deeper. You got to figure out what's going to make each sales rep have the greatest success. And that's going to be dependent on each individual sales rep. Listen, sales training is a great investment if you're willing to do the work. If you're not willing to do the work, it's a terrible investment. And it has nothing to do with the quality of the sales training, right? We've had great sales training meetings. We've had terrible sales meetings. We've had everything in between. Guess what? It was the same presentation. The difference is people that execute it, that take it serious, that roll up their sleeves and do the work, they get great results. Right? The people that don't, that think they have all the answers, that think they already know everything, that aren't self-aware, that think they're great communicators when the truth is they're horrible communicators. They do not have success, right? We were looking at for another client yesterday. There was a company that was in the business, and this client's trying to put together an SBA loan and trying to get some financing done for business. And so we're going through it, and we're looking at different funding sources, and we find a new source. And I said, well, their Google reviews are bad, but I can guarantee you in that industry, everybody that's a 5-star, their loan got approved. Everybody that's a 1-star, their loan got declined. Guarantee it in that industry. So you got to dig deeper, right? You can't just look at Google reviews. You got to go deeper, and that's what I'm encouraging everybody to do. Go deeper in your own personal development. Go deeper, understanding that there's not a quick fix. There's not an easy button for building relationships. There's not a quick fix. There's not an easy button for activity. There's not a quick fix. There's not an easy button for networking. These are things that you have to go invest the time and the energy to do. If you do those things, you'll have great success. If you don't, you'll stay right where you are now.
All right, here's the danger. I got the top hat, I got the buggy, I got the horse, I got the snake oil in the back.
Oh boy.
This is every sales training company out there. Not every, but a lot of sales.
I was going to say, whoa.
Not every. They're going to tell you how they're going to give you an elixir to fix your sales problems. Tell me you haven't heard that. Tell me you haven't heard, if you go through our training, we will increase your sales by X. They do one day of training and they leave.
I like the ones that say increase your sales by 3,000%.
They're all over the internet, everywhere.
They're everywhere. The truth is this. If you could have somebody that can move the needle in your organization 20%, 30%, man, if you really hit it out of the park, 50%, is that good? Yeah, that's great. Because those are real numbers. Those are real returns on your investment. Don't fall prey to all the shysters and this, as Dave says, the snake oil salesman when he's right, that you think are going to, take you from a $500,000 sales organization to a $5 million sales organization by doing these one or two little slick things, because it doesn't work.
Well, they get the picture by the on the green screen with the Gulf Stream behind them. And they're 25 years old, and they're selling a program that's going to do this for you. Look, you have to do the work. You have to connect with people. You have to build relationships. You have to have self-awareness.
Yep.
And you have to understand that if you're going to have training, then you need to have metrics to track performance, track activity, track outcomes. And if your sales team doesn't know what their close rate is, what their call rate is, what their top 60 list looks like, you need to start there.
Yeah, 100%. And that's why that's why there's such turnover in many sales organizations, is because people aren't willing to do the hard work, right? And when I say hard work, I mean, let's keep it in perspective here. It's not like you're going in the bottom of a coal mine every day and shoveling coal. When I say hard work, I'm talking about doing the things that you don't necessarily like to do, developing those muscles so you can become a better networker, so you can become a better relationship builder, so you can become a better prospector, so you can become better at generating proposals, so you can become better at service and follow-up and all these things. That's the stuff that's going to raise the bar. That's the stuff that's going to move the needle, right? But you got to get past the quick fix. You got to get past the idea that somebody's going to come strolling in with this revolutionary new concept on how to sell. If you're selling construction, oil and gas, real estate, insurance, automobiles, doesn't matter, manufacturing parts, doesn't matter what you're selling. Does not matter what you're selling. It could be the most basic nut and bolt, or it could be the most sophisticated financial instrument that you're selling, or anything in the middle. If you're not good at relationships, if you're not good at communicating, if you're not doing enough of those things consistently, right? Putting yourself in a position to tell your story, to listen to people, to hear what they're saying, to find out what their pain points are. If you're not doing enough of that, then you're not going to increase your sales. I hope everybody hears that.
It's fair. So let's wrap it up today. If you want coaches that are going to teach your team how to block and tackle, do the right things, and be winners, let us know.
Yep.
If you want consistent follow-up and feedback, let us know. If you're looking for somebody to help you get better, let us know. But don't waste your time with the snake oil salesman. This stuff is not hard. It just takes coaches that understand the basic fundamentals of executing a sales plan day in and day out and what makes a sales professional effective in the field.
That's it. Bottom line. Got to go out and do the work, people.
That's a fact. So with that, Dave and Phil, we are out of here.